Welcome to Expeditions Rome, an upcoming RPG set in the ancient Roman world. I mentioned it on my recent video of 10 upcoming historical games in 2022, link in the description, and it's due for release on the 20th of January. At the moment there's a free demo on Steam which you can try out, and I've just finished it, so here are my first impressions of it, and having played the previous 2 games in the Expedition series, my view on how this one's shaping up and whether you should consider buying it or even pre-ordering it. Let's go. So first, a bit of background. Expeditions Rome is set during the 1st century BC, during the late Roman Republic. You can create your own Roman character, a legatus, an officer, who is forced to flee Rome and escape to the provinces when their father is killed. You can team up with 5 unique companions, all have their own personalities and skill sets, and lead your group in tactical turn-based combat and across the world, fulfilling quests and advancing the story. And you can even take control of your own legion and lead them in battles and engagements. The demo's about 4 hours long and starts with a character creation screen. You can choose the name, the gender of your character, and from a short list of portraits. I settled on this guy who, to me at least, looks like Irish rugby legend Ronan O'Gara. So all hail, Ronan O'Garius. You then get to choose one of these 3 perks, which heavily influences the way that you roleplay your character, and each one gives you different unique dialogue options, and you can basically choose between brains, brawn, or charisma. The game then opens as you're fleeing Rome, sailing across the Aegean to the Greek island of Lesbos, and after a bit of introductory dialogue, you're soon raided by a group of pirates, and that leads to the combat tutorial. I've got to say, even though I've been playing RPGs like this for decades, to begin with I found it pretty overwhelming, the combat, but if you stick with it for an hour or 2, you'll get a hang of the basics. It's very good and deep, the combat. I'll come back to it a bit later. On the boat, you'll also meet up with your companions that you'll spend most of the game adventuring with, and they all have their own unique personalities, and it's done very well. You really feel like these are unique characters, and some of them get on with each other and some of them don't. It depends on their personality traits. Oh, and the voice acting for each character, and each line of dialogue is fully voiced as well. The voice acting is brilliant in this game.
We need our Triarchus to make it safely ashore.
Just before you land on Lesbos, you get to choose your character's class. There are 4 main classes and 3 subclasses of each, so it gives you a lot of freedom to choose on your particular playstyle. When you finally get to Lesbos, you'll be tasked with helping to take over the island for Rome, and you do that in 2 ways. Firstly, on the turn-based combat level, you lead kind of commando raids with your companions, and those have specific objectives. So for example, one objective is to burn a fleet of enemy ships so that your enemies can't be supplied from the sea. And secondly, you'll eventually get control over your own legion, and you can use that to march on your enemies and besiege their stronghold. In between that, you're free to roam around the map and the bases as you like, and you can talk to strangers and some of your companions, and there are 1 or 2 side quests to do as well. All of this will take you about 4 hours, and it's the prologue to the game. It introduces most of the mechanics in the game, and that's what's included in the demo, just these first 4 hours. The question is it any good? Yes is my answer. It won't be for everyone. If you're a fan like me of sitting down, having a turn-based game, you can sit down with a cup of tea, relax, and just think about how you want to tactically play the game. And if you love a historical setting like I do, you're going to love this game. It's shaping up to be really, really good. If you're not such a fan of those things, then you might want to give it a miss. The combat is pretty complex, pretty deep. It's really good. There's a load of customization. There's loads of different classes and skills that you can spec your characters into. You can equip them with a lot of different weapons and armor and tactical items such as bandages or grenades. It plays a bit like XCOM in that your team takes its entire go, and you can move your fighters around the map, moving and attacking in any order you like, and then once your turn is over, you press the button and the AI will take its turn. It's got that classic RPG ticker down the bottom left-hand side telling you what's going on, how much damage you've dealt, and what buffs or debuffs your characters or the enemies have. And it's really tactical. The first non-tutorial combat that I did, I wasn't paying too much attention, and I got absolutely trounced. So I reloaded an earlier save, tried it again, and completely routed the enemy, just because I was really thinking about exactly when and how to use abilities, who should attack which person, and that makes the combat really deep. Another thing is that the combat usually has specific objectives. For example, I mentioned earlier when you have to burn the ships in the harbour. It's not just about killing every single enemy on the map, and that should mean in the full game there'll be a diversity of objectives, and it means the combat won't get too repetitive. I wasn't really so impressed with the Legion strategy level. There's not a lot of it in the demo. It's a new mechanic for the series, and it adds a whole nother level of strategy. But I didn't really get my teeth stuck into it. You make 4 decisions during a battle. You pick 4 strategic decision cards, and then you basically watch that play out almost like Football Manager, when you do the strategy first and then you watch your players implement it second. And I kind of like that in a way. It kind of it replicates the chaos and the unpredictability and the difficulty of giving specific orders in large-scale ancient battles. But I haven't had enough time to really get to grips with it. You can move your Legion around on the world map and take over things like mines and farms and stuff to get different resources, and you can also post your companions or hire legionaries for specific jobs to increase your recruitment or increase the rate at which your injured soldiers get back to full health as well. So that's another whole strategy element to the game. In terms of historical accuracy, for me at least, it accommodates the gameplay, of course, but it doesn't break the immersion. This is a really immersive game world. There's some real historical people, like Julius Caesar. Actually, all of the Latin is pronounced in the classical Latin way, so instead of Gaius Julius Caesar, it's
Gaius Julius Caesar.
All of the events of the prologue are based on the real siege of Mytilene, which happened in 81 BC on the island of Lesbos, where the Roman Republic was basically trying to take over the island because it was used as a pirate base. And it was indeed the place where a young Gaius Julius Caesar began his military service during the siege of Mytilene. So it looks like this game will be grounded fairly strongly in historical events. Obviously some stuff has been changed to fit the gameplay, but nothing that breaks the immersion of the game world. Compared to the previous 2 Expeditions games, both of which you should try if you like these kind of games, this game obviously has much higher production values. All of the dialogue lines are voiced. All of the characters, excluding a few minor characters, have unique portraits. The graphics have clearly been overhauled, and the combat interface and the icons are a bit clearer than in the previous games. I did find with the previous Expeditions games that they got a bit repetitive. The beginning was very strong, and then the final third of the game got a bit repetitive and lagged a bit. I don't know whether that will happen in this game. Hopefully not. So in conclusion, if this is your kind of thing, it's looking like it's going to be a really great game. It's released on the 20th of January. There is 20% off for a pre-purchase at the minute. Personally, I never pre-purchase games. I always wait for at least a few reviews and then work out whether it's going to be worth buying it. But this game is definitely looking good. I can't wait to jump into it come the end of January, immerse myself in the ancient Roman world, and hang out with some heavyweight historical characters like
Gaius Julius Caesar.
Brilliant. So thanks very much for watching the video. If this was interesting or useful for you, do leave a like, let me know in the comments, and subscribe for more historical gaming news and content. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next video.